project about 9 episodes ago, and we decided that we always have this conversation about how effective and how we do things, so we decided why not to
Do
actually
a
do this. Yeah.
thing. Yes.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So you have what? It is.
Minute.
Come on, 6:05. Come on, let's do it.
It's
do it.
6:04.
Let's do it, T. So your board, you need to like update your board. It's like,
I haven't touched it ever since we started this.
yeah, because we'll celebrate the 10th episode. We should celebrate that. We should make it different. We should like do it somewhere else, like outdoors. We'll figure it out. We'll come up with a cool idea.
Of course not.
Episode 10, because we need to celebrate. Because we actually committed to this for like almost 10 weeks. That's impressive. So 10 weeks is almost how many months? Almost 2 months, right?
It's over 2 months.
Over 2 months. That's right. It's almost 3. We're taking a math. Okay, good. You ready?
About 4 weeks. A month is about 4 weeks.
But we had February.
It's like it's like 4.5 weeks.
Okay.
So everyone, welcome to KNT Talk Series episode 9.
9.
The
Yes.
keyword effort. We're going to be talking about effort. As you can hear from the title, the keyword is effort.
Yes, Tristan is all.
I'm just going to go
He's
full on.
he's full on. He's taking full
This is gonna be
ownership
a lot.
of this topic.
This is
Mom
not
will
even-
sit back and listen,
This is
and maybe
not-
we'll add something at the
This
end.
is not even going to be a dialogue. It's just going to be a monologue.
Monologue of T trying to talk about effort. But before you talk, can you just say why we're doing this? I know you said something at the beginning. So we developed this project because what we realize is, help everybody out there, families,
Yep.
parents of kids, maybe share our stories. We're an active family. Tristan's a swimmer. I'm
And
a
plays
fitness
basketball.
coach. That's my passion.
You mean
And
personal trainer?
Fitness coach, personal trainer, the same thing.
I prefer personal trainer.
You prefer personal trainer. Let's go with that. Yeah, Baker joins us.
Every once in a while.
Once in a while. Let's see if he like sits here. Oh, he goes by you. He favors you. That's not interesting right now, because last episode he was with me. Okay, so we're doing this because we want to share our message. We want to share our story, and we want to learn from you. We are not saying that we're perfect, but we have healthy conversations about how to be active, how to have a healthy lifestyle, and we said why not to share that with everybody out there, and we decided to come in for 30 minutes every week to share our message with you. So we created a group, right? KNT Talk Series, so we have a group. If you like to join us, please do. We also have a YouTube channel that we added, and we post all our live videos out there. We have a couple of workout sessions as well, workout tutorial sessions, and hopefully we are getting ourselves together.
Yes.
And we'll start posting more and more. Getting more comfortable with the camera, and getting more comfortable with each other, being in front of the camera, because we always stop. And plus, you have your 10-minute workout sessions twice a week. That's amazing. How do you feel after the first week of accomplishment? I know you were struggling yesterday morning. You feel okay? How's the workout? How's it feeling? How's the flow? Do you like it? Because I know we made a change in one of the exercises. Are you still okay? Do you feel like, how was yesterday after you did a 10-minute workout? Because that was intense. You are tired, like anything else? How you were at school? You had some energy? Felt a little better. So you were all awake when you got to school, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now I'll let
like
you
90%, not like 100. It's like 90.
90. Why 90? Not 100.
You're never 100.
You never 100.
Right now I'm like 70.
Now you're at 70. So now you want to do full roll on effort.
Yes.
So why you decided you want to talk about this topic?
Because
What effort means to you first? Let's start with there. Then
putting the work in.
Putting the work in. So effort equalize for
Yes.
you putting the effort, putting the work, right? So what work you talking about? Like putting the work on what? Like, can you be more specific? Give me an example. Like you putting the work of waking up in the morning and doing that 10-minute workout.
Yeah, that's cool.
So putting the work is also putting the commitment in, right? So that's where the effort comes from. Is that what effort means to you?
Let me go with an analogy here.
Okay, go ahead.
So let's say you have like this person that has absolutely no talent in, like, let's say something like soccer, they have no talent, they're not skilled whatsoever, but they put in as much work as they possibly can every day. Let's say someone who's beyond talented and just on godlike levels and just doesn't put any effort in. Who's going to do the best in the long run? It's going to be the person who puts the effort in, because they're willing to put that effort in, push themselves to the very limits, while this person is just sitting in their comfort zone.
Wow.
So that's a little analogy for what effort can do in the long run. So the
For an athlete, right?
yeah,
That's okay.
and it can change your life. So
Okay.
it's good.
So what do you want to talk about effort and around effort? So what's your, how you want to talk about this? Because I know you said you have a monologue about it.
Yes, of course.
So I guess I'll let you go and I'll interrupt if I feel like. Okay.
I already had my analogy on it. So.
Okay, I got the analogy. Let's move on.
All right.
Let's see how it's stored.
Alright, so I'm going on the full monologue zone, or I'm just gonna continue blabbering about effort and why it's important, so.
Okay.
Alright, let's start going ultra talking mode. Alright, so effort is just very important because you're not gonna go anywhere, you're just gonna be in this just unlimited amount of infinite plateau.
Okay.
You're just going to stay on this one level, but if you put that effort in, you're just going to keep on pushing yourself to get off that plateau and go back on the mountain.
So to
You're gonna keep on.
retrack, are you talking about fitness or are you talking about in general about everything that you do in your
Yeah.
life? So
'Cause-
you are specifically referring to fitness or any kind of sport activity that
Just
you do.
everything.
Okay.
So you got to get out of that plateau, keep on pushing yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, just push yourself to the very limits until you're dead, inside and out. Until you get to that mountain and you're back on the track. That's the goal.
So climbing the mountain. Again,
Yes.
that's a different analogy. So putting in effort is like climbing a mountain.
Yes.
Interesting.
Those people.
So sometimes it feels difficult when you get to a specific height. It feels difficult, right?
But then if you put in the work, you'll get off that and then you go back on the mountain, and then you're going to get that same feeling you've had for a while.
Okay, but you still need to put the effort. When you
Yes.
get to the peak, you still have a drop down and
Mhm.
coming back again.
Yes.
But you're still putting the effort no matter what. Okay.
Another great book to read that really shows how someone put the effort in is by David Goggins. It's Can't Hurt Me. It's a autobiography about him that he wrote himself.
What's the book about?
It's about his life and
What's the book title?
Can't Hurt Me.
Can't Hurt Me. So David Goggins that we
Yeah.
listened together, right?
I like it. About an eighth
It's
of
a
it.
little
I
bit,
listened with you.
It has a little bit of the wording is very straightforward.
But yeah.
We love the message, and you will listen to it together. He's very inspirational.
I read it like 2 years ago maybe. So
Okay. So who's David Goggins, and what's his
Uh,
story that kind of motivated you to put more effort in swimming? Because
Yeah.
I know you are about to quit swimming, or like you are not really into it, like a year ago, and you just that kind of got you going. So
that
what's
was
the
more
book?
than a year ago.
Was more than a year. Okay.
Yes. So the story is it's about David Goggins, as you heard. So he
Who's
was.
David Goggins? Maybe a lot of people didn't know who he is. Just give
So
him
he's
yourself
a ex-Navy SEAL who is a ultra marathon runner and has the world record for the most pull-ups done in 24 hours.
right.
So
But did he complete the Navy SEAL program, or he was
no,
already
he
first?
was complete, and he won in Delta too.
Yeah, he was on the Delta Force. That's where he had heart surgery and heart replacement, right?
I don't think so. That was after.
Okay.
That was when
But he was an Army first, or he was a Navy?
He was a Navy SEAL. That's
Navy
where he
SEAL,
went.
Yeah, he's an ultra runner. He is, and he come from a humbling family. He didn't know even how to write and how to read, and he did accomplish it. And he actually had a writer with him. He's saying his story,
Yeah.
and somebody wrote the book for him.
Yes.
This is how this amazing is. It's super inspiring. So, what did you learn from the book? What he shared?
So he shared his childhood. He didn't have a great childhood, in all honesty, because he had a very abusive father, which his mother left with him at the age of 8 Yeah, I think it was 10 actually, but they moved somewhere else, and they divorced, and his mother and his father divorced. He did have a brother, but his brother stayed with his father. That's all I know from that side of the point, but you can see how childhood was like after that for Goggins. It wasn't that great, because of course people are going to be people. That's the world.
Okay, but he refers to his childhood, how difficult his childhood was.
Yeah, it was
how
he
he really wanted to
because he had to hide, because when he was with his father, he had to hide his bruises because he was always getting abused by his father, so he had to hide that when he went to school.
Okay.
Same with his brother. So yeah.
So he had odd jobs of different kinds, and he decided to join military, and he decided to become a Navy SEAL.
Let me explain the important part of it. So
Okay, good.
he was probably around 200 and something pounds, and like
Okay, so okay. I forgot about that. Right, go ahead.
yeah, and he was a bug a pest control.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went this one time, and it was he went to this restaurant. It was this huge, like, army of roaches, and he just ran out of there. And then he thought to himself, "What am I doing with my life?" And then, bam, then he went into the Navy SEALs, and they said he had to drop nearly 100 pounds in less than a year. I think it was around 9 months.
Yes.
And he did that. It was slow at first. He couldn't even run a 3/4 of a mile. But he kept on pushing through that. And
So
by the
where-
end of that
where do you
deadline,
see the effort?
and he made, because he kept on pushing himself to.
So he talks about effort in his book.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the reason how he made it this far.
Okay.
Because he kept on going. He didn't care what would happen. He just wanted to get this because he knew his
To
life.
get enlisted, or get the contract,
Yeah.
to get in as a Navy SEAL, get in the basic training. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He kept on pushing himself, and he lost around 100 pounds in less than a year. Around I think it was like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's what effort can do.
So that was his first step, because after
Yeah.
it comes into, he's like, he had more things to overcome.
Yeah.
Okay, as soon as
But
he
that was
started
the
his basic.
first.
Right.
That was the first thing. And then he finally went into Navy SEAL training to get in. So he passed the weight test, and the person that was there, he was very surprised that he made it in the deadline, be dumbfounded basically,
Mm-hmm.
that this guy was able to do that in way less than a year. So another part when he was Navy SEAL training, it was the part where they practice swimming, where it's very weighted, and you have these giant fins, and it's very grueling. He didn't know how to swim.
Right.
He barely knew how to swim, and there was some people
So he grew up in California, then he moved places. 'Cause he
Yeah.
was in California. Okay.
he didn't know how to swim. And there was these people were practically Michael Phelps people,
Mm-hmm.
Descendants of Michael Phelps,
Mm-hmm.
who were great at swimming, and he wasn't like that. So every day, when he came back from his break from there, he went to the lake, took off until I think it was underwear, and then just swam across the lake every day. And it was a big
that's
lake.
consistency. So
Yeah, and
he
he
just
put in the effort.
practices every day. so he
Yeah,
can
just
get
some
better.
basic freestyle.
Freestyle. Okay.
Actually, he did some other things
So effort means being consistent.
yes,
Putting the work, but not just random work. You need to put the work consistently.
yes, and
Okay.
he did that
Okay.
because he went to the lake and he did that constantly.
Okay. And then he passed the test.
Yes, he passed that. I forgot what it was called, but he passed that test.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that really shows that if you put in the effort, and you can do anything. It doesn't matter how untalented you are at the thing. You're practically guaranteed to make it.
So that's not only fitness. That's in everything that you want to put yourself on.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's just a life decision you're gonna have to make. If you don't put in the effort, you aren't
He
gonna
was
go
afraid of water because he never swims. So for
He
him,
wasn't
it's
afraid of water. He was just
He never swims, so
Yeah.
he need to overcome that
Yeah,
before he even learns how to swim and get
Yeah.
this up. Okay.
and they had weights and everything
Mhm.
over there. Yeah.
I remember, I like the story when he talked about, because then he started to do all the ultras after he finished everything else. But when he got
When he pooped himself one time.
yeah, that's but like
The first
when
time.
when he had the heart surgery, because he had the heart surgery before he was getting in deltas or one in between.
That was after.
After, so he had a.
That's why he subbed going to the military, is because he had the.
He had the heart surgery because he was at some kind of marathon or ultra.
Yeah.
Ultra, he was doing like 100 or something, 100 days, whatever that was a long one. I don't remember.
It was 100 something miles.
100 hours was it 100 hours?
No, it was 100.
miles?
No, it was
100 miles, I think so. So he
no, it
did
was
that.
more than that.
So he had some heart issues, and he had
Yeah.
heart replacement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heart replacement surgery, and he still went back and started running again, right?
And then he broke the pull-up world record.
Yeah. So he is. So why do you reference his book, and why you thought about him when you thought about effort?
Because when I listened to that book at the start, it just, I wasn't really hooked onto his story because it was just a sad childhood. But then as soon as he talked about how he joined the Navy SEALs, I was just like, hold up, how is that even possible? Because he put in the effort, and that's what he says. Because I read the Audible, it's like a podcast, and he says that if you don't put in the effort, you aren't going to make it anywhere. He says that, and
he said that people are afraid to do the work.
Yeah,
a lot of people are afraid to do the work.
Yeah, and
it's scary, and you need to it takes a lot of energy because you need to be committed.
Like
to
around
every day.
5-10 years ago, he started to have like 5 or 8 years ago, after he started to have problems like all around. He just didn't feel good. He was lightheaded and stuff for a while.
Mm-hmm.
His doctor says he may have heart problems again.
Yeah.
So then he realized that he never stretched. He pushed himself to his very limits, but he never
He's an
stretched.
ultra runner.
Yeah,
he's an ultra
he
runner.
never stretched.
He did the desert. I forgot whatever that.
Yeah,
is,
that one
the
was
race.
which is like
He was on top. He was. He said he was very humble because he was ex-military and he had all these top runners of the world running with him during that race. So he was like sharing insights of how he did it and how all those top runners appreciate him, and they admired him for his determination to complete the race, even he did not have the experience.
yes, because he put in the effort. You don't need to be something pro at something to be the best. You just need to put in the effort. You don't need to be like ultra talent. You just need to put in the effort. That is why this episode is called keyword effort. Because effort, you aren't going to go anywhere without it. In life in general, if you don't put in the effort, you aren't going to make it anywhere.
You'll make it, but you'll make it to the average. You'll not.
You'll just be
past
another.
your limits.
You'll just be another person. You'll just live a normal life, just
Be
normal.
comfortable.
Yes.
So the reason that you talk about this book, because this book inspired you. What this book did for you? What do you learn from it?
If you don't put in the effort, you're just not gonna make it anywhere. You're just gonna sit in the comfort zone, doing nothing every day for the rest of your life. You're not gonna
So
make it
what
anywhere.
you did, I'm assuming, I remember after you will listen to the book and you read more about him, when you realized you got more committed to swimming, because I know you're more into swimming. You start learning, you start putting more effort. Your actually time was better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you decided to do other sports besides swimming.
I
to
already did
increase
basketball
your speed,
before that.
right? Mm-hmm.
And the first reason I actually started swimming was actually to benefit me in basketball, because that works your whole body. That was my main reason for it. And I went way too deep, so.
Okay.
I
Talking
already-
about effort, what else we need to, putting the effort, and that's a very inspirational book, and he has a lot of YouTube videos over there that he talks about him, prepping for the races, how he did it, how he got into Navy SEALs, how he passed, he completed the Delta Force, or he did not?
He did.
He did till the end? Now he's trying to bite me. Awesome. So, what else you want to talk about effort? Because that was your episode. So I'll let you talk about it. You still have some time.
I'll look at the time.
Yeah.
What did you say again?
What else you want to talk about effort since you started with that book?
Well, effort is very vague, like fairly vague. So effort is very well important in just life itself, because you want to be somebody. You don't want to just be another person.
Or maybe you just want to be somebody for yourself because you want to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, there
So
is
it's
no
not-
best version of yourself.
Yes, it is.
No, there is.
I know we discussed this, and I disagree to agree with you. It is
There's
the best
no
version.
best
So
version
you
of
working to
yourself.
better yourself, that is your best version. You're better, but because you're not using your 100% skills, and talents, you can't become your best version. Some people are, like you said, some people are talented, but because they're not putting the work and the effort,
Oh,
they're not becoming the best.
One more thing.
Yeah.
So, and also something that he constantly said when he was talking about the book, he kept on saying that people only they only push themselves 60%.
Okay, yeah.
And
It did.
people like him push themselves 100 all the time. No, 110.
Yeah, that's like he talks about 110, yeah. So why do you think people are pushing this on only 60%?
Because that's the 60% under is their comfort zone.
Yeah, because they're afraid to pass that comfort zone, to break the barriers, right?
Get up into
But it's-
110%.
But it's all with effort, with the effort, you're not only putting the work, it's a lot of work, it's not only physical work, it's also mental work.
Yes.
So you need to be mentally prepared to do that work. You need to not have any expectations, but you need to be mentally strong, right? Because sometimes, like when you're swimming and you do your 100 yards back and forth, you need to be mentally focused to make that happen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then you need to be mentally focused, then you need to believe in yourself. So you need to also believe in yourself as emotionally thinking, hey, I can do this. So it's your trust and faith in yourself that you can accomplish that goal, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking not only about the physical aspect, so doing the actual work, exercises, reading a book, riding a bike, learning a new language, learning a new skill. Talk about you need mentally being prepared and focused, right? But you also need to be, so the emotional, where's the emotional part? The emotional part is you being positive and just pushing through, being determined, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just believing yourself because nobody else will. Nobody else knows what your skills are and what is your talent. Only you know what you're able and capable to do. But you can push over your barriers and your limits, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so he pushed through the emotional part because he needed to deal with all his childhood scarring and everything else because his dad abused him, so he thought that he's unworthy, he's not good enough, he can't make it, he was already physically unwell because he had the weight, so
Yes.
he needs to overcome that.
Yes, he was fat.
Then with all that he accomplished mentally, he stayed focused on the task.
And the
his
task in
small
hand,
goals.
and yeah, he kept on, he just,
So it's very
Straight
important.
down.
It's very important to marry
110%.
those three elements, right? The physical aspect, the mental aspect, the mind, the brain, and the emotional part, which we talked about emotionally fit before. Sometimes people are physically prepared, they're mentally prepared, but they're not emotionally prepared. So you need to have all those three elements in balance. If you don't have them, that's when that effort is getting lost. Like people are very motivated, they're very excited, they want to start, but they lose the effort because all
Yes.
those three elements are not there for them. So something is missing.
because motivation is just a gimmick.
It's a foot in the door,
Yeah,
right?
It's just a gimmick.
So
Effort is what's the actual work, is the actual thing.
right.
Motivation is just a gimmick.
It's very clear. I like that. But still going back to that, physical,
As
mental,
Mom was trying to say in her
emotional.
huge paragraph, I just said that in a sentence.
Yeah.
It's just a get motivation just to give me.
And it's good to have it when you start something. You need to have motivation. That's your beginning. For you to go through, that's when you need to work on you need to check in with your mental, your mind, because any effort of physical activity, anything that you do expands your mind, right? It expands your neurological connections in your brain. It makes you happy. So also reading some studies about effort. So effort in fitness. So apparently how much effort you put into fitness, there are some studies that talked about happy workouts and how workouts are making you happy because of the release of serotonin and dopamine in your brain and equalizing your flight and fight response. It makes you more happier. So people who are doing a physical activity, they're more happier, they have less stress because they can deal better with anxiety, with that emotional part. So when physical is there, you're already invested emotionally, right? You putting that, you get that hype from it, but then you have the mental, and the mental is you being less stressed and having less anxiety. And mental also, you know, the fun part, there are a lot of studies over there, especially if you do strength training, and you know that's what I do, I love strength training. So weightlifting or any kind, what is that doing for you? Apparently when you use a weight and you do performer workout, when you're, you know, you're focused on form, on movement, because you already hold the weight in your hands, dumbbells, barbell, whatever you want to call it, you need to be focused and stay in the moment, in the present. You need to focus on how you breathe, how you inhale, how you exhale, how your body moves. So you actually need to be fully present during the workout. So what that does to you, it takes all the stress and all the thoughts, all your monkey mind out of that moment. So you're actually creating a space for you to decompress. So that's why it gives you that feeling of feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
Past workout.
That's
So that's like,
what I
anything
have
that you
to do.
accomplish, you know, organize your house, do a big project, so things like that. But especially a physical work, that's what it will do for you. But you'll get that different response because you include your mind and your emotion in it, adding the physical, so you have the three elements. So when you do school, you include the mind, you include the emotions, but you're missing the physical. So you're getting a partial, let's say, feeling good feeling, but not the full one. So that's interesting. And how he explains the effort, he mirrors all those three elements. So that's what effort is. Effort at the end of the day is to understand and realize that you need to be physically prepared and have a physical effort. You need to put the mental effort in, and you need to put the emotional effort in, right? So only if you have all those three, that's when you will get to your goal. That make sense? Because if something is missing, let's say you're mentally prepared, you're emotionally ready to go, but physically you're injured. Physically you're not capable, and some people, because they're injured, they cannot move, so they lose the effort. It's not there anymore, right? So there's some obstacles sometimes. It depends how you overcome it, but you still can overcome by starting small, right?
Like Goggins, he started to feel like sick and stuff because he realized he never stretched. So he just stretched every single day.
He realized that.
30 minutes.
So he realized, he was trying to become his own advocate, health advocate, because he had heart surgery. He overcome so many obstacles in his life. He wanted to better himself. So he understood, because he had so many muscle cramps and his joints were cranking, and the doctor said that they need to put him in physical therapy because he was so bad. So when he realized that he never stretched. So we talked about stretching. Stretching is very important. You know, warm-up stretching, which is dynamic stretching, and cool-off stretching, which is, what is it?
Cool-off stretching.
Which is isometric hold, so holding that stretch for 45 seconds to 2 minutes. Yeah, until 2 minutes. So you want to hold it longer to what? Lengthen your muscles, right? So he started doing stretching. What he said, what he found? He found that he released a lot of pressures from his joints, right? So is he still stretching now? What do you know?
Maybe, probably, most likely.
And he's a spokesperson for military in general, or only for the Navy? Because he's
I don't know.
currently what he's doing.
But right now, he's ex everything.
possibly. So this is what I see effort is. So effort is a keyword. It's doing the work, but adding all those 3 levels and marrying them together. Is there anything else that you want to say, Dan, since Baker finally come down? Since it was your topic, and I know you want to take this over.
Well, that was a very, very important episode because that's just not fitness and health, that's just life itself.
Right. So how can you apply it in
Everything.
aspect of your life?
Everything.
Everything area,
Everything.
of your life. Okay. So thank you so much for joining for K&T Talk Series.
We're not done yet.
You're not done, right?
We're not done
I
yet.
have 30 minutes, but if you want to.
Let me finish this up real quick.
Oh, you have. That's what I asked. Do you have anything to add? That was a little.
But there's one more thing you have to say.
Yeah.
Effort, some people really don't think of it as something as of importance, but really it's the only important thing. Yes, it's the only important thing. You don't need talent, you don't need skill, you just need effort. And effort can get you skill. Talent just comes by means. That's just something if you got lucky, yeah. But effort gives you skill, and skill just makes you better.
Right. So
You just need effort.
So what? Give
Skills
an
come.
example of what you do. How you apply effort. How you do effort in your life, and where you think that you may be lacking effort. So we're not perfect. So where we have room for approval and improving, where is that?
Everyone
Currently.
has.
Everyone has room for approval.
Some have more, some have less.
Okay. But you're still putting the effort. But sometimes you're not putting like 100% effort.
Yeah,
110.
Yes.
You're not putting the 110. Maybe you're putting the 60%, but you're not putting the 110. So how should I convince you to put 110% effort in everything that you do? So it's not coming from me, so I can't convince you.
Yes.
It needs to come from you.
Yes,
So
because
going back to that emotion, that's what I'm trying to say.
the motivation is just a
Get there.
gimmick.
Right. So
As I
it's
said.
not me pushing you. It needs to come
Yes.
from you. I
All
can
right.
be there to assist.
Yes, all right, so wrapping this up for today. This is a very important but still yet short episode.
Yeah, get your message, learn what you learned, check David.
I recommend going on Audible. That's where I listen to it. Go on Audible, listen to Can't Hurt Me. It's very inspirational.
Can't Hurt Me.
Yes, by David Goggins. I recommend it for everybody.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yep, that's all I have to say for today.
Yeah, so it was all T, his topic. So if you
It was
really
my
wanted,
monologue, a little bit of
if you
dialogue
wanted
going.
to talk about it, and this is K&T Talk Series episode 9.
Hopefully you all enjoyed, and let me turn the camera off. All right, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Make sure to subscribe.